So I am so excited to finally be able to do this video for you guys. So you know that Where Beauty Lies, which is the second novel that I co-wrote with my sister Elle, it is debuted or released on August 13th, and I finally have gotten permission from everyone on our team to go ahead and read the first chapter to you guys, and then after I read it, I'll tell you how you can unlock the second chapter if you go share it on Facebook. So this is going to be a pretty lengthy video just because it is going to be a lot of me reading. It's 14 pages for the first chapter, and I also wanted to let you guys know that we have a really awesome pre-order campaign going on along with this book. So if you pre-order the novel, or if you get it before August 18th and submit your receipt or proof of purchase online, I'll put a link to everything with all the instructions and everything below, you are going to receive a free hardback cover of Beneath the Glitter. So that is the first novel in this series. So if you haven't read that, this would be a great time to be able to get the pre-order price for Where Beauty Lies. And then you also get a free hardback copy of Beneath the Glitter, but if you guys have already read it, then it makes a really great gift, you know, a hardback brand new copy of a book, and you're also going to get a signed nameplate. So for those of you who don't know what signed nameplates are, we had them last year on our book tour for some people who came up and maybe like their sister really wanted to come but they weren't able to. So we had some nameplates that we could sign, which are basically just stickers that you can peel off and you can put it on the book, so you essentially have a signed copy of the book. So if you pre-order, submit your proof of purchase, you are going to get a free Beneath the Glitter copy and a signed nameplate that you can either put on Beneath the Glitter, or if you want to put it on your copy of Where Beauty Lies. So I wanted to make sure I told you guys about that. And for those of you who are able to make it out to any of our Macy's meetups in the next few weeks, I'll put all the dates and locations below. There's actually a really awesome thing, and this is all limited, like while supplies last. I just want to throw it out there. So is the free Beneath the Glitter and nameplate, or book plate, just so you guys all know. But if you come to Macy's and spend $50 in the My Style Lab, then you are actually going to receive a free hardback cover of Where Beauty Lies, and you get VIP access to have us sign it and all that stuff. Do you have to spend that money to see us and like say hey and just hang out and shop for a little while? Absolutely not. But if you're going to be spending that money anyways, it would be great to go ahead and get a free copy of the book. And for the meetup that is on August 10th, we actually got permission from our editors and everyone to go ahead and do that promotion as well. So if you are able to come to that one, you are going to get a hardback copy before it is even released. So I thought that was all really awesome. Lots of new news. Everything is going to be linked in the bottom bar below. So if you have any questions on any of this, just go down there, and I'm going to go ahead and get started on reading the first chapter of Where Beauty Lies. Chapter 1, Contessa Your Blessings, mid-November, Soho House, West Hollywood, California. The girl at the door looked up from her computer sleepily and said, yes. It was 11:03 on Sunday, so if Sophia hadn't known better, she might have thought that the girl just wasn't a morning person. But Sophia did know better and knew that Claire Bell would have looked exactly that slow and sleepy at 11 o'clock p.m. or 2 o'clock a.m. or any time. It was part of the mystique about Soho House, the fact that the people who worked the door were so much cooler than the patrons who literally didn't have time to deal with them. Hi, Claire Bell. We're meeting Hunter for lunch downstairs, Sophia said, already moving past her towards the hall with the elevators. Reynard, Claire Bell said, and a large man with tattoos on his face stepped out of nowhere, blocking their path. Sophia loved Soho House once you were inside, but getting in if you weren't a member, it was, as her sister Ava said, almost enough to make you forget their excellent yogurt strawberry cheesecake. Almost. We're meeting Hunter here for lunch, Sophia said patiently. I'm sure he called it in. And your names? Her friend Lily couldn't take it anymore. Claire Bell, don't make me remind you about third grade PE. You know what I mean. It's protocol, Claire Bell hissed at her. This is a club, not the White House, Lily hissed back. Fine, she said. Welcome back, Miss London, and she glared at Lily. You. Thanks, Spot, Lily said, and Sophia couldn't help noticing that Claire Bell's face went from normal to flaming pink in 1 second. Lily had grown up in LA and seemed to be connected to nearly everyone there was, either by blood or secrets, which meant she could find a lever to get almost anyone to do almost anything. Why did you call her Spot? Ava asked when they were in the elevator. Lily gave her a sideways glance. She had cornhusk blonde hair, olive skin, light green eyes, and a face that made people's jaws drop, which would have made her a tedious friend, except she had the sense of a 14-year-old boy and was completely nuts. Trust me when I tell you that you don't want to know. She looked at Sophia. Don't worry, it's only 11:06. Sophia tried to smile. I know. The smile on her face was tight and she could tell that she wasn't fooling anyone. There wasn't really anything wrong. It was just that she hated to be late, and she especially hated to be late for Hunter because it upset him so much. I worry when you're not where you're supposed to be, he told her early on in their dating with one of his knee-melting smiles. How could she argue with that? She glanced for the 4th or maybe 14th time at the Cartier watch he'd given her 2 weeks earlier on their 1-month anniversary. The face was gold with a little blue sapphire on the side, the same colors as his eyes. Giving her the watch was so perfectly Hunter, so perfect, period. It was just another example of the way he never chastised her if she did something he didn't like, just came up with a solution that would charm them both. The watch was his thoughtful, elegant, and effective way of telling her that time mattered to him. He was seriously the ideal boyfriend. He had been since their first date. That had taken place the day after the nightmare of the Pet Paradise fundraiser. Just thinking about it sent a little chill up her spine. After she and Ava had apparently doomed their makeup line with Lux Life Cosmetics by having a knockdown, drag-out sister fight during the big launch, they'd reconciled and poured themselves into organizing a benefit for the animal shelter where Ava had been volunteering, and it had gone spectacularly until the very end, when they'd been led away by police accused of having stolen the money they'd raised. It took less than an hour to get it all sorted out and for the police to arrest Ava's friend Dalton for the theft, but it had still been unsettling. That wasn't the only unsettling thing about that period, if she was being honest with herself. She'd been surprised not to hear from Giovanni again. She'd seen him for the last time a few days before the benefit, outside the gallery where her photographs were debuting. "Your work is wonderful, Stella," he'd said, his face all shadowy planes in the dim light of the parking lot. "It's just that you are more wonderful. What I see is the beginning most impressive, and the more you become comfortable to show yourself, the more outstanding your pictures will become. Do you understand?" She had, but I'm scared, she'd admitted, and he'd smiled at her and told her that it was natural, but you won't let it stop you from doing what you want. And then, knowing her too well, he added, "And do not say you don't know what you want. You will when the time is right." That was the last thing he'd said to her, more than 6 weeks earlier, a compliment and a challenge wrapped up together, as though he were saying he believed in her. But Hunter had come out of the gallery to find her with the news that all of her photos had sold. He told her that they were just as wonderful as they were, that she was just as wonderful as she was. There was no but with Hunter, which was why when Hunter had called the night after she and Ava came home from being arrested and asked her out on a date, no more playing as just friends, as he'd put it, she'd said yes without hesitating. And she hadn't looked back since. The next day, Hunter stood in the doorway of their apartment, the sun on his back making a golden halo around his head, and said, "I hope you don't mind. I chose somewhere a little out of the way. I thought you'd like to avoid the press." Sophia had smiled, and before she could thank him, Hunter had said, "That, right there." "What?" Sophia asked, looking around. "That smile. It's what I've been waiting to see." From that moment, he'd swept her off her feet so well that she hadn't had time to think about anything except him. She remembered blushing and feeling like she was floating or in a movie and being so distracted that she hadn't even thought to notice where they were going until the car was turning into the driveway of the Santa Monica airport. A little out of the way turned out to mean a little dinner at a quarter table at a quaint, candlelit garden of a French bistro in New York City. Afterwards, as the car drove them through to Central Park towards his parents' place, he got quiet and seemed distracted. "Did I do something wrong?" Sophia asked. He shook his head, and when he looked at her, he looked like a little boy, his blue eyes wide and vulnerable. "No, you've done everything exactly right, and I'm scared of messing this up." "You're the perfect one," she said. "This was the most amazing date I've ever been on." "Really?" he asked, as though he genuinely didn't know. "Really," she told him honestly. He'd leaned over and kissed her then, and it felt warm and familiar and comfortable. "Right. I could get used to having you by my side," he'd said, squeezing her hand. "Me too." They spent the night at his parents' little place on the city, a 4-bedroom apartment at the plaza, and gone sightseeing the next day before flying back to LA that night. The entire time, everything had just clicked, and by the time they touched down, it felt like they'd been a couple for months, not hours. Hunter was like a good luck charm. Since they'd been together, amazing things had been happening to her and London Calling. She couldn't believe she'd ever thought about not dating him. In fact, the only thing not perfect about her relationship with Hunter was how little they got to see each other because Sophia was so busy, which made being even 6 minutes late for brunch with him feel even worse. She knew he would understand, especially when she told him that what really held them up was Ava waiting to Skype with Liam from the set of his latest movie in Romania. Or was it Slovakia? Sophia couldn't remember, not because she hadn't paid attention, but because Ava hadn't seemed sure of it herself. She wasn't positive what was going on with Ava and Liam. Whenever she asked, Ava said they were just friends, and yet she seemed very eager to talk to him, more than just friends eager. Although looking at Ava now, Sophia thought that her sister seemed not sad that she hadn't got to talk to him the way she would have if they were going out, more frustrated. Trying not to check her watch, Sophia ran her hand through her long blonde hair and straightened the French cuffs on her pink mini dress. "Is it just me, or is this elevator set to sloth?" she said. "It's you," Lily told her as it dinged a final time. Sophia practically exploded out of the elevator and into the dining room. Her heart was beating fast as Macy, the hostess, showed them to the corner view table that Hunter had reserved, but it slowed down when she saw that the table was empty. Hunter was late too. She hadn't kept him waiting. Relief flooded through her. Then she saw that she was wrong. He was there, only his head was on the table and he was doing. She rushed to his side and put her hand on her shoulder. "Hi, sweetheart," she said. "I'm so sorry we're..." His blue eyes opened. "Well, don't you look gorgeous," he said, standing up to take her in her arms. He pulled her close and ducked his head to kiss her in a way that was much more of an after dinner than before brunch kiss. "Wow," she said as they separated and only their noses touched. "You took my breath away." He smiled at her lazily. "Now you know how I feel every minute I'm with you." Sophia brushed the dark blonde hair off his forehead, struck like she always was by how hot he was. There was a faint line of gold stubble over his chin that caught the light and made him look like he was glowing. She ran her fingers along his cheek and said, "I wish we could just do this for the rest of the day." Me too, he told her, "only maybe with fewer people around," he yawned, "and I might need a nap." Sophia remembered that he'd been at a poker tournament the day before. No wonder he was so tired. "How was it? Did you win?" He shook his head. "Nope," he shook his head. "I lost," he said, shrugging it off the way only people with plenty of money can. But the experience, some of the biggest names in poker were playing there. It was like getting to play piano with Mozart. "That's amazing," Sophia said. "It was an audition, actually. I'm trying to get one of the top coaches to work with me." "You're really taking this poker thing seriously." "A prince has to do something while his princess is busy all day beautifying the land," he said. He said it with a grin, but Sophia caught the slightest tinge of frustration as well, which made her feel guilty. Luckily, things slowed down from December until February, and she could dedicate herself to being the best girlfriend in the world. Sophia smiled up at him and could have spent the rest of the day staring into his handsome face if he hadn't heard Ava said, "No, he just said every minute, not every single minute." The two of them were sitting, heads together, on the other side of the table. "What are you doing?" Sophia asked. "Collecting dialogue for my new play," Lily told her. "The rule is I can only use things I've heard people say in real life." She grinned at Sophia and Hunter. "Pretty much all the best romance lines come from you two." Sophia said, "I know Ava's doing a boy talks, but you're no shrinking violet. You must have some of your own romantic dialogue." "Yeah," Hunter concurred, pulling Sophia's chair out for her. "Get your own." "Somehow you look hot in that droid costume doesn't sound as good out of context as..." Lily dropped her voice. "Now you know how I feel every minute I'm with you." Hunter and Sophia grinned at each other. "Be careful," he told Lily, "or we'll start charging royalties." Hey, did I just hear my favorite word? Royalties? Rusty Green, president of Mean Green Productions, had a long red braid and always wore green suits. "How are my favorite future reality stars?" he asked. "Hello, Mr. Green," Ava said. "We're well." Rusty Green was one of the first producers to have contacted them about doing a reality show after their charges of theft were dropped by the police, and over the past 6 weeks he'd also been one of the most persistent. Sophia hadn't even had time to change her clothes the morning she got back from her New York City date with Hunter before Ava had hauled her out to their agent Corinna's office. Corinna had stood by them through the Lux Life debacle and their arrest and always had a calm, rational voice. That morning she looked frantic. "Everyone loves a damsel in distress, especially if she's young, beautiful, and nice to animals," she said. "You two have practically attained Disney princess status by now, and boy, have people been noticing." The proposals poured in. Reality shows like Mr. Green's, pet care lines, home care linens, and random product endorsement offers in foreign countries. The one they'd fallen in love with was an offer from Home Sweet to do a line of homewares, starting with a bedding collection they were launching for Valentine's Day. Or, as Rusty Green put it now, "How's your little sewing project doing?" Sophia said in her sweetest voice, "You mean our housewares lines?" He shrugged, "If that's what you want to call it." "Actually, we're calling it Live, Love, London," Ava told him, purposefully misunderstanding. "And our first collection is called Romp. It's all bedding, sort of country French meets English." Great, he said. Sophia wondered if his reaction would have been any different if Ava had told him that they were making couches for baboons. "I've already got someone else on the hook for my project, but seeing you two here, if you begged, I would still give it to you. Tell me you've changed your mind." "I'm afraid we haven't," Sophia said. "We were approached with so many quality reality concepts, but we want to build our brand from the ground up, not just through flash PR. "I've got to take this," he said, holding up his cell phone and drifting away. Ava followed him with her eyes to make sure he was really leaving, but then said to Sophia, "He didn't have a call, did he?" She shook her head. "Nope." "What word do you think it was that scared him off? I want to know so I can use it repeatedly. Maybe have an amulet made." Lily glanced up from her iPad. "Was he the Martian show?" Ava laughed. "I'd forgotten about that. No, he was the Bachelorette-style show set in the rainforest. Love is a jungle." "House of Mars was my favorite project you were offered," Lily said. "I can't believe you passed up a show with the pitch line, Big Brother set in a biological and gravitationally accurate Martian colony. What was their slogan? Red hot, Sophia told her. I might hold you personally responsible if that show doesn't get made, Lily said. Sophia became aware of people behind her speaking Italian, but it wasn't until she heard the phrase Stella Mia that she really began to pay attention. Giovanni, she breathed, and her heart began to pound. He'd said it the night of the gallery. Stella, the last time she'd seen or spoken to him. Said it and then disappeared without another word or text or phone call. He hadn't even bothered to reply to hers. And now here he was, presumably talking to a woman, someone else. Maybe it wasn't even him. Maybe, Stella Mia, for the sake of Pete, please do not try to stab yourself with a buttering knife. The tablecloths here are way too nice for such things. That had to be Giovanni. Unable to stop herself, she turned to look at the table behind them. It was occupied by a model, gorgeous Italian woman in her 30s, wrapped in leopard fur, pointing a butter knife dramatically at her heart. A shorter man with round glasses who gazed at her adoringly, and a boy somewhere around 12 with wide brown eyes and curling golden hair who could have modeled for a Renaissance angel except the way he winked at every waitress who went by. No Giovanni. She wasn't disappointed. Sophia told herself as she turned back to her friends. She leaned back and felt Hunter's arms around her shoulders. Who had time for friends, even funny ones who mingled English and made you see yourself differently? I'm going to take a gallery tour. I need to start working up on my Christmas tree, Lily said, picking up her iPad. A gallery tour for Lily meant that she was walking around the restaurant taking pictures of everyone's plastic surgery, which at this time of the year she would have printed on Christmas tree balls. The year before, the tree had been all noses, but she'd been talking about doing all lips and chins this year. Although all of Lily's perfect parts were original, part of her Los Angeles childhood heritage was the fascination with plastic surgery, both as practitioners and its recipients. Am I wrong thinking Lily is wearing one of the sheet sets off the romp campaign? Hunter asked as she wandered off. You are not wrong, Ava said. She tapped the coat draped over Lily's chair. And this is one of the comforters. There was some extra yardage from the samples they sent over, so I repurposed it. Sophia had always known her sister had a good eye and could put patterns together well, but it seems Ava's creativity had gone into turbo overdrive since she started her boy talks. One day, Sophia would get up and there would be an entirely new concept for the throw pillows on the bed. The next, she'd find a dress made from the sample fabrics. Ava had made one with leather fringe trim that they were considering for pillows, which Sophia had been dying to wear for weeks. The silk straps were Sophia's idea, Ava was telling Hunter. She's the trim and finishings genius. I just do the grunt work. I bet you could sell that stuff, Hunter said, but I'm not suggesting that. I want even more free time with you, not less. He tugged Sophia towards him. I'm sorry, Prince Charming. As soon as we finish shooting the romp campaign, I'll have 3, maybe even 4 days off. 4 whole days? Hunter marveled. Did I say days? Sophia said. I meant hours. Actually, she meant minutes, Ava told him. I'll take them. Hunter went along with the joke. As long as they're... There was the discreet throat clearing and the same Italian accented voice Sophia had heard from before. Please excuse me for the interruption. They turned and saw the man with round glasses. The Contessa humbly requests a word with the beautiful ladies, if they are friends of that one. He pointed at Lily. There. We are, Sophia said. Her eyes met Ava and they could tell they were both wondering what Lily could have possibly done now. Prego, the man answered, holding his arms out to the side, one for each of the London sisters to take. Hunter tagged along, and they made a slow, stately, as far as Sophia and Ava were concerned, incredibly mortifying procession from their table to the Contessa's, 3 over. If there were anyone talking or moving or looking anywhere but at them in the dining room, Sophia couldn't see them. When they reached the Contessa, Sophia had a moment of panic about etiquette when addressing her. Do you curtsy? Do you kiss her hand? Her ring? The Contessa herself had solved the problem, standing and giving each of them 2 kisses on the cheek. She beamed at them, holding one of each of their hands for a moment, then pointed them into chairs the busboy had brought. Cibella, how beautiful you are, she said. We are going to be Biff, I know this already. Sophia and Ava must have looked puzzled because she said, Biff, this is an American thing you say, no? She turned to the boy, snapping her fingers to get his attention, and then said something quick in Italian. BFF, he explained with only a slight accent. You will be best friends forever with my mother. Good luck to you, he winked at them. The Contessa leaned towards Ava. I am told you are the hand that made this, she said. When she said this, she flourished her right hand towards Lily. I made the outfit, yes, Ava said, wanting to be completely clear. I am Contessa Antonia di Bellavista. You have heard of me, of course. You know, I do not speak idly. Your outfit is molto bello, or as you Americans say, the wow. I must have it. So it is decided. You will make a fashion collection for me at New York Fashion Week. Ava said, right now we are really focused on, the Contessa reached out and placed a perfectly manicured finger over Ava's mouth. This is not a conversation, blah, blah, you, blah, blah, me. This is me telling you, you will do this. All business proposals must go through our agent, Sophia told the Contessa, hoping her voice sounded calming, since she had just seen this woman pretend to kill herself with a butter knife. The Contessa smiled and nodded, only then remembering that she still held a finger over Ava's mouth. She let go and patted Ava on the cheek. Bene, you give me the name of your agent, I will go buy him. Very good. She brushed her hands together. It is done. You are mine now. Didn't that sound like it should be followed by an evil laugh? Ava asked Sophia in the car going home. Completely, Sophia told her. But I don't think we need to worry about hearing from our new Biff. She forgot to ask for Corinna's number or name. What a relief, Ava said. Lundu's, the truffle and cheese pizza at Soho House, promptness, serendipity, the wow, repurposing, fast-drying nail pins, New York Fashion Week. Lundon'ts, mess with people who had PE with you in 3rd grade, underestimate the Contessa, ever say, but I don't think we need to worry, go to sleep without taking off your eye makeup. And that is the first chapter of Where Beauty Lies. I know that was a little lengthy, but if you would like to unlock the 2nd chapter, all you have to do is click on the link below for the Facebook tab that I will put in the little bottom bar description, and all you have to do is share the 1st chapter, and then the 2nd chapter will be unlocked for you to read. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this whole video, and just know that this is definitely a baby of mine. This is something that Elle and I spent so long working on, so please be kind. And yeah, I hope I get to see you guys at some of the Macy's meetups. Make sure to leave in the comments below if you're able to make it to any of those, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.